Welcome to this module on Create Cell Bank called Domains and some $100 Startup Ideas. So before we had some domain definitions in the e-commerce definitions module. You can review these: domain name, a subdomain, a domain name registrar. What's going to be important for this module is the domain name and the domain name registrar. An expired domain is very important also for this. It's a domain that has not been renewed by the owner, and as a result, it is available for purchase. Typically, when you buy a domain, it's your property for a period of 1 year, 2 years, on out to, I think the longest I've seen is 5 years. So if you, at the end of that period, don't renew it, don't pay the next period's payment, it reverts back to the registrar and it can be bought for $12, $11, $10, $9, whatever the pricing happens to be. A top-level domain, a TLD, is the 3, 4, 5, 6 letters or digits that are to the right of the dot. It started off in the old days, it was .com, .org, .net, .gov, .biz, .edu. Then there was a revision and they went to more, and you can see those up here, the various types that were the TLDs. Then they added country codes. And if you look through this, there's various .aus, Australia, .de is Germany, .fr is France, and so forth. So you can set up a domain that is salesforce.com.fr for the France office of Salesforce, and traffic will go there. So these are some stats that you can refer to back, the definitions. And where I'm going with this is that we can look at some of the expired domains, and here they are. So as you're watching this, you can go back, pause, and see the definitions. There's some of them are obvious, some of them are not. But the key thing that I'm trying to show here is that here's the domain name. And in the case, this first one, it's 5 digits. And it's actually 2 digits that are repeated. The first one is the digit 2, and it's repeated twice. The next one is the digit 6, and it's repeated 3 times, 22666. Now, over here, the valuation column says that it's almost $3,000, $2,859 to be exact. But the price from these bids that are occurring show that it's up at $38,000, and there's still 6 days left. So there's a lot of excitement over that domain name. The backlinks, there's not many. Frankly, this site, there's not much exciting about it other than that domain. You want to find out sites that have a lot of backlinks and are registered in a number of different TLDs. So this one, it has a .com, but it's also got the .net, the .info. I'm hypothesizing here. And this one, POWA.com, is probably in many countries. And you can see the prices that people are paying for them. So this is something that you can do. Now here's the expired domains from the last 24 hours. And you can see the prices that people have bid on these expired domains. Now we define domain name registrars, and here's some of them. 1&1, which is now Ionos.com, GoDaddy, Dynadot, Uniregistry, Namecheap, 123-Reg, .co.uk. So the .uk is the country code. Didn't figure that out before. Domain .com, Bluehost, HostGator, Hover, DreamHost, any of these places, and there are dozens and dozens of others that you can buy domains from. Ionos, they've got a site. You can go to it, ionos.com, and figure out what they do. You can transfer, if you've got a domain, you can transfer it there, fine. If you've got a domain, or if you've purchased a domain, this is, in a funnel sense, a classic upsell. If you buy the .com domain, they'll say, oh, we'll give you the first year free of that domain name .online. And then, of course, they'll charge you in year 2, or they'll bundle up .club, .shop, .app, .online, and make that available to you as a package, as an upsell. Just read the fine print. We'll go over that in a bit. You want secure sockets layer, the SSL, because it encrypts the traffic. Google isn't even sending their search traffic to sites that don't have an SSL certificate. So if you're going to set up hosting and where you can build a website, you want to have SSL. You must have SSL. And they can enable you to set up with that domain. You can set up email. So you could, if your domain name is abc.com, you can have szar@abc.com, and you can do that for up to 25 email accounts for $1 a month for the first year, and then it's $2 a month. You can set up a website, and there's the price. And it's really important to look at these $1 per month. That's for 12 months, and then it kicks up to $10 a month. Same thing for web hosting. If you can have the domain, you can have a lot of email accounts. The SSL certificate goes across. $10 a month is $120 a year. $8 a month, of course, $96 a year. And all of those domain registrars have this, but this is things that you want to look at, particularly the support that you can get. Can you get somebody on the phone? Can you have chat sessions with people? And of course, we've talked about affiliate programs. Well, of course, you can market for each one of those registrars. They have an affiliate program that you can sign up for, and you can market the program. And if you get people to sign up, you can get a front-end commission. And if there's an ongoing subscription, as we've talked about before, you can get a commission off that too. So, if you refer 10,000 people, you can make a good living. Now, I talked about reading the fine print. So here's a GoDaddy ad, and I'm not picking on GoDaddy because they all do it. We've already saw that on 1&1, where they have the $1 per month. So you see $1. Oh, I can afford that. Well, you got to look at it close. So you can get a domain for $2.99 for the first year. Hey, cool. They've got the $17.99 crossed out. But read the fine print. A 2-year purchase is required, and the second year is billed at the $17.99 rate. And of course, that means year 3 is $17.99, year 4 is $17.99. So your out of pocket is $20.98 for a single domain. The $100 businesses that we're talking about, that's too expensive. But again, read the fine print. They're all guilty of doing that. So, there's a number of $100 startup businesses in the domain spaces, and we're going to talk about 2 of them, but I'm just going to list, you buy a keyword-rich domain name or names. You build a site or sites under those domain name or names, and you sell the sites. It's fairly straightforward, but it is a business. When you buy a domain name, you're buying it for $12. If you build a site and you set that site up so that it's got the connections to the social media, which we'll talk about, you can make it and have traffic coming to it. It can be 10 to 100 times, in some cases 1,000 times more valuable than the $12 that you paid for the domain. The second is to buy expired domain names that have traffic to them. And we'll talk about this, particularly traffic from YouTube, traffic from Wikipedia, some with local traffic. But you buy the domain, it's yours, there's still traffic coming to it, and you redirect that traffic to another site or another offer. Now, if the site is about apples, you don't want to send them to an offer about oranges. I mean, that's obvious, but you want to make it in that particular niche. 2B is you build an e-commerce site using that expired domain name, and you use the traffic and you give people products, services in that particular niche. The 2C is you resell the expired domain names at a profit, using the arbitrage principle that we've talked about. The third business is you purchase domain names for clients, you build the sites for your clients, you maintain sites on a monthly basis, a recurring or a subscription basis for clients, and you perform value-added services like you update their local listings on Google, you create simple content for social media, you do website development for them, you do website hosting, and you do search engine optimization, search engine marketing. Now, you don't necessarily do all this. You can subcontract it through Upwork, Fiverr, Odesk, Elance, iMarkInfotech.com is an Indian place in India, and there's a lot more. You just have to do your research. And again, it's an arbitrage. These folks are generally less expensive than what a client would pay you. And the difference that you can make is, of course, via arbitrage is your profit. Now, single word domains can be incredibly valuable because they're memorable, they're keyword rich, and they're easy to type. Pain.com, nobody's going to forget that. It's keyword rich because it's all about pain. And it's easy to type, PAIN.com, and you can get there. So it just in mid-December it sold for $400,000. Other domains, are a little bit more reasonable price tags, but they can be all over the map. But the key here is look at these domains. They're from 250 to 1,000, 2,000. There's some for 4,000, and then there's one for 24,000 that's in the box. Now, that is what I call, and other people call, a keyword-rich domain. It's formed by combining keywords, and in this case, triple, credit, and reports are those three keywords, and they've gone together, triplecreditreports.com. Now, if you're a credit bureau, that is like a really cool domain to have, and the supply and demand is such that it sold for $24,000. These domains on this page, they've got typically 4 letters or 4 numbers or a combination of those. So it's, again, memorable, keyword rich, and easy to type. LABA.com, 99,000, TULO.com, 55,000, 5111.com for $50,002. Pickstart.com. So Pickstart is a 2-keyword domain, pick and start. But if you look at it, and this is what, when you start putting keywords together, what else comes out of there? Picks and tart. So pickstart.com. You want to make sure that you put 2 reasonably well-chosen keywords together, and that combination doesn't have some keyword or some letter combinations that you don't want to have. And 777av.com is 31,000. So the key there is the 4-letter, 4-number keywords or domain names show up very rarely, and when they do, they're high priced. So here's some more. eBiz Planet. So eBiz and Planet, $100,000. Himalayan Bizbird, Himalayan eBizbird, $100,000, and on down. And you can see, that these are on Namecheap.com, $349,500 for SaintKitts.com. Well, that's a cool one. Backdoor.com, $349,000. Okay. So the first $100 startup domain-related business is to research and identify trending market niches. This might be your sweet spot that you've done. You've found something that you like, you got capability in, you found some areas that you could improve on, and you're passionate about it, and there's a market for it. So you find that, and you construct keyword-rich domain name options, and you check out that each of those options are available, because if it's really a good one, somebody's probably already taken it. So you have to check. And then you purchase the ones that, I'm just going to say, the available and maybe the highest valuation ones for $12. And then you take those domains, you either build out a hosted website for each domain and put the domain website combination up for sale, or you just sell each domain. And that last part is called flipping. So we have access to a domain name mining application. And let's say your sweet spot is solar. So you input solar, you choose your top level domain. You're going to see I chose .com, but you could have chosen .net. You could have chose .world. Any of the available TLDs. You can choose to augment your keyword or keywords with additional 4-letter keywords. Start the search, you appraise them, and then you can sell the domain for 10% of the sale price and potentially make a profit. I'm going to go through some examples here that'll really lay that out clearly. Here's how you do it. You start the search and you get these, and you start looking down the right side, and they're all pretty inexpensive. Well, there's one, basssolar.com for $20 coming up. Oh, you've got beltsolar.com for $50. So you could buy it for $12, sell it for $50. Yeah, that sounds like a good deal, but let's keep going. So, you've got these, you can look, and now Band Solar is $70, and that's got those 2 keywords put together. So you could make on Belt Solar, if you sold it at the valuation price, you sell it for $50, you bought it for $12, and then you also have to pay 10%. That's a rough number to the auction house for your domain. So 10% of 50, and it comes out to be $33,000 And same thing for band solar. So, if you did that, you would have $84 of profit. And from that, you would pay yourself or somebody that's actually doing that for you. Well, let's keep going. If you start looking at different things, here's solar again, we've got solar and, there's some, $160 disc in solar. So your profit could be $132. The $100 valuation, the $110 valuation, Doc Solar, Cozy Solar. Keep going, now switch the order. Solar and Remix, $110 will give you an $87 profit. Solar and Small, so Solar Small, $290 valuation, and that'll give you a profit at $249. Well, if let's say you did that over a week, you would that's $50 a day, 5 days. Now, solar and penny stocks, so solarpennystocks.com, the valuation is $460. And you can go buy this. It's available. And, if you put it up and you make a buyer pays $460 to you or to the auction house, you would get a check for $402. Now you've paid $12 to the registrar, domain registrar, and you've got a $46 payment that the auction house will keep, and that's why you get $402. But if you look at that and you think, well, what if I did that over a week? Well, that's $80 a day. That's not bad. So let's say we took Disc Solar, Solar Small, and Solar Penny. You put those together, cost you $36 to purchase it. You make $710. The 10% is $71. So your profit would be $600. And let's say you did that each week. Well, now you've got $100 a day coming in, potentially, theoretically. And what's your outlay? $36. So do you have any other cost to start up? No. You just need to find the time, which of course does have a cost, and you got to factor that in. But in a startup, your time is free. You're donating it. You're building up the business. So you spend $12 per domain or less. So did the same thing for leather. One of the e-commerce stores that we're setting up in Create Sell Bank 2 has a leather theme. Now, leather is a $1 billion plus market, and that's why we're focused on that. We're going to be doing other things over in the sunglasses and fashion, in jewelry. Each one of those is a $1 billion market. So we're going to be setting up e-commerce stores in there. But look at this, belt leather. Well, now look at that. It's like B-elt, leather. You want to make sure that it doesn't have some other meaning in there. So the value was $520. There's your profit. Beds and leather gives you bed slether or bedsleather.com. Back leather is $250, and that's the lowest one in this three. But look what happens when you take arts and leather. Artsleather.com, the valuation from the valuation algorithm is $680, and your profit's $600. Army and leather is armyleather.com is $800. And guess what? These are available. You can go get them. So if we look at the previous 5 domains on the past page, the belt leather, beds leather, back leather, arts leather, and army leather, what you end up with, you're spending $12 each, so you spend $60. If you get 100% of the value, there's $2,700. Now you have to pay $270 as the 10%. So your profit is $2,370. And now there's no guarantee whatsoever that there's going to be a purchaser for these things. You don't know if it's going to take a day, a week, a month, 3 months to sell this. So it's not like you're going to build this up, but over time, you're going to get a sense in your particular niche or across various niches, which domains are selling. And again, when you look at, to get those 5 domains, there's $60 that you could get. And that's less than $100. So choosing just the highest value, and value is the algorithm valuation, keyword-rich domain names can lead to nice profits and nice return on investments. So this business model scales as you purchase and sell more high-value keyword-rich domain names, because you take your profits and you roll them back in, and you can buy more domain names at 12 and sell them. And even you can explore, if you find a valuation that's higher than you can buy a domain at auction, maybe the domain is $200 or $300 at auction, but your model says that that thing's actually worth $1,100. Well, you can do the same thing. So you've got ways to scale into higher price domains that you can apply arbitrage to, or you can spread out and get more and more domains that are on auctions. So the last sentence there is really the one where you take a domain, and instead of just flipping it, you can take and apply it to a website. Now, of course, your costs are going to go up, but they're not going to go over 100. You set up an search engine optimized site with the domain name that you've bought. You've got social media linked to it, that you've got your YouTube channel, you got a Facebook fan page, you got Instagram, Pinterest, you got a blog, and you've got maybe an e-commerce store at this particular site, and it's up and running. You've got traffic, you've got an email list, and now you can sell it for potentially 10 to 100 times what you sold the domain for. And that's called value add. You are doing it. And at the end of Create Sell Bank, you are going to know how to do this. So we talked about solar penny stocks. You could buy it for $9.06 on Namecheap. Now wait a sec. You just said there was $12. I'm using 12 as a limit, because if you can make money at $12, and now if you can buy this thing at roughly $9, well, you've baked in another $3 of profit. And for the lower price domains, that means a lot. For the higher price domains, it becomes more of a round off error, but it's still something that you can think about. So you can go to Namecheap.com, set up an account, buy that domain. So the second $100 startup domain related business is you find YouTube channels that have significant traffic and they have expired domain names. Now you purchase the available domains for $12 each. Now, just because the domain expired doesn't mean that the traffic stopped. And you build out hosted websites for each domain and put the domain website up for sale, or you redirect to an offer in that niche. Again, if it's an apples niche, you don't want to send them to oranges, or you just sell the domain. The statistics that you can see is that you can get the application looks and it finds the recently expired domains, and it looks at the traffic on YouTube. And when you set that up, that traffic, now all of that traffic isn't going to come to this domain, but a percentage can. So you need to check those things out to make sure that they're not copyright, like Disney.com, and you start setting up a Disney.com website, you're going to have Disney lawyers showing up. So you don't want to do that. Now, right now, there's almost 800,000 expired domains that are available. And we're going to go in, I'm going to show you, I'm going to make these domains available to you through the Slack channel. And of those nearly 800,000, 8,408 domains have been registered by users so far. So, you can see here's how the application gives it. The YouTube results are the number of YouTube videos that have the domain name in their title or in the description. The top 50 views, top 50 likes, top 50 dislikes, top 50 comments, and when it was added to the expired domain list. And here's an example. These are the top ones right now. Marcos A. Balute is a Brazilian music group, and they have 138 videos. So if you click on the 138, you will get a pop-up that shows you, and I'll show you a little example of that in a second here. And you look at idlebyopera.com, they've got 100 videos posted on that YouTube channel, 138, almost 139 million views, a lot of likes, very few dislikes, and a ton of comments. And this was posted on January 22nd. So it's not that old. And here's what it looks like. So you click on the 100 of Idle by Opera, and this pops up, and you can start seeing all the various videos, and you can click on those, but you can see the number of views of each one of the videos. The important thing here is to see that, if it's got 10 million views and it's got 50 videos, that one video doesn't have 9,900,000 of those views and the rest are just very low. You want to see something that's got a good distribution. And if you look at this, 16, 7, 9, 11, 4, 8, 7, they're all relatively consistent in the number of views. And then you can look at the likes and dislikes, and you can do your research and you go, you know what, I think idlebyopera.com, you research to make sure it doesn't have a TLD that's going to direct it somewhere else, but you can buy this and you can put a website that would have a common theme to this. And that is an overview of domains, expired domains, and a couple of $100 startups that you can do that are in the domain niche. Thank you.